Uniwersytet Śląski w Katowicach to bardzo dobre miejsce do pracy, dające duże możliwości w zakresie współpracy międzynarodowej. Od lipca 2020 roku jesteśmy członkiem Uniwersytetu Europejskiego Transform for Europe.
A laboratórium tökéletesen felszerelt, és egy kiváló helyszínt biztosít a tudományos kutatásaim elvégzésére. A kollégáim rendkívül segítőkészek.
Lavoro come microbiologo all'Università di Silesia in Katowice, dove mi occupo nella mia attività di ricerca di migliorare il futuro del nostro ambiente.
The University of Silesia is an ever-growing and evolving scientific institution where young scientists, researchers and students can come, learn, grow, build their career and then make a contribution back to the local population.
실레지아 대학교에서 연구하고 강의하는 것은 저에게 폴란드 문화와 폴란드 언어를 더욱 깊게 이야기해주며 유서 깊고 다양한 실레지아 문화를 만나게 해줍니다.
Jako matka samoživitelka oceňuji možnost přizpůsobit si rozvrh hodin svým potřebám. Jako akademický pracovník plně pociťuji podporu univerzity, pokud jde o můj akademický rozvoj.
Powiększanie dobra wspólnego, jakimi są nauka i edukacja, oto unikalny składnik pracy w Uniwersytecie Śląskim.
Uniwersytet tworzą ludzie. To im staramy się zapewnić dobre warunki pracy oraz atmosferę sprzyjającą prowadzeniu badań na międzynarodowym poziomie. Działania podejmowane przez Uniwersytet są zgodne z zaleceniami Europejskiej Strategii przy zatrudnianiu naukowców, o czym świadczy przyznane Uniwersytetowi wyróżnienie HR Excellence in Research.
Nazywam się Małgorzata Myśliwiec, jestem profesorem w Instytucie Nauk Politycznych Uniwersytetu Śląskiego w Katowicach.
Sono Franco Magurno. Lavoro come microbiologo all'Università di Silesia in Katowice.
Nádudvari Ádám vagyok, és a Sziléziai Egyetem természettudományi tanszékén dolgozok, adjunktusként másfél éve.
Jmenuji se Lucie Zormanová a pracuji na Institutu pedagogiky jako odborný asistent.
My name's Alexander Lowe. I work in the Institute of Chemistry as part of the Faculty of Science and Technology.
저는 실레지아 대학교에서 연구하는 유창일이라고 합니다.
Nazywam się Ryszard Koziołek. Jestem nauczycielem, badaczem, profesorem, rektorem Uniwersytetu Śląskiego.
Nazywam się Małgorzata Chrupa-Łapniak, jestem psychologiem i pracuję w dziale HR Uniwersytetu Śląskiego.
Hello, my name is Patrycja Kierlik and I am delighted to welcome you on the second day of virtual job fair Nice2MeetUS. Today we are going to provide with more information about Faculty of Science and Technology, Faculty of Law and Administration, Krzysztof Kieślowski Film School and for the end of the day Faculty of Theology. Please remember that on our website you can find the full agenda and contact details of our speakers. The first of today's presentations will be provided by Dr. Katarzyna Balin from Faculty of Science and Technology. The floor is yours.
Thank you for the introduction. My name is Katarzyna Balin. I work in the Institute of Physics, which is one of the Institute of Faculty of Science and Technology. And today I would like to explain several aspects related to work at our faculty. So let me start to talk about the faculty from the basic position, so starting with the numbers. So the Faculty of Science and Technology was established in 2019. It is a combination of two previously existing faculties. And as for now, we are located in 3 different cities, Katowice, Chorzów and Sosnowiec. We do have something around 2,500 students, 6 different scientific disciplines, 12 degree programs, and around 335 employees. And among them, we do have professors, associate professors, assistant professors, and assistants. So the Faculty of Science and Technology has some general mission, and the mission is generally to develop the knowledge and create some new technologies, as well as adapt some technological innovations for development and general social needs. And of course, we are also highly focused on the education, so we are trying at the same time leading high-class research and teaching in several different areas. So the structure of the Faculty of Science and Technology is generally split into 2 parts. So one is related to the scientific institutes, and the second is supporting administration. So within the institute, we do have an Institute of Chemistry, August Katowice Institute of Physics, Institute of Computer Science, Institute of Materials Engineering, Institute of Biomedical Engineering, and Institute of Mathematics. And our administration is generally divided in several different offices. So a typical dean office, organizational office, and the office of evaluation is additionally supported by a project team and research infrastructure team, which I will mention also later because those are quite important for us units. Today's presentation will be generally split into several parts. The first one is focused on the education. So as I mentioned before, we do have 12 different programs for education. So we are educating our students in the fields of biophysics, chemistry, chemical technology, computer science, applied computer science, physics, medical physics, biomedical engineering, materials engineering, mathematics, mechatronics, and micro and nanotechnology. Most of those programs are divided into 2 cycles studies. So the first cycle or bachelor or engineering, and the second master studies. And several of our programs like computer science and physics on the second cycle studies are realized in English language, whereas, for example, materials engineering for both first and second study are provided in both Polish and English language. Additionally, we provide postgraduate studies, and we actually have 3 programs. So it's optometry, computer science in secondary school, and protection of classified information and information security administration. Additionally, our students can continue the study in the doctoral school of University of Silesia. I'm mentioning those additional programs also because our employees also have classes with the students, for example, from doctoral school or on the postgraduate studies. We also, as employees of the Faculty of Science and Technology, try to work on further student development. So we do provide for our students outside of the program that I mentioned before, some individual learning paths, some scholarships, internships. Our students can work in our research teams, can join scientific circles, and can also use the programs such as Erasmus and MOST for study abroad. Additionally, our employees undertake some other initiatives. So we are currently we have several different programs which are aimed for, of course, student development, but not only. For example, we are running this year we will run first international summer school, interdisciplinary summer school. We do have some master's program which connect biophysics and pharmacology. Generally, we do have programs that improve the computing skills of or non-IT students or IT students and many others. So this is something what our employees are also focused on and in the field of teaching students. But teaching is not the only thing we are doing. We are also highly focused on the scientific activities, and at the university it generally works like that. University of Silesia defined 5 priority research areas, and among those who are important for our faculty is protection of health and quality of life, modern materials and technologies, environmental and climate change, and fundamental properties of nature. And of course, the priority research area supports the implementation of this sustainable development goals. If we are looking more closely at the Faculty of Sciences and Technology and try to combine all of the research area to some points, let's say, we are mostly interested in several, let's say, different research area, and let me just name them. So fundamental aspects of given discipline, general information, advanced technologies, healthcare, and environmental protection. So I not necessarily want to read all of the information that is given here, but for example, in the meaning of information, we are thinking not only about the computer science or some artificial intelligence, but also about the communication or for example, working on some tools that allow to, let's say, send the information somewhere on or collect it somehow. Similarly, in case of healthcare, it's not only pharmaceuticals, but it's also a biomedical materials or systems that support work of, for example, doctors or diagnosis. But I would like to be more specific in explaining the research activity within the institute. As I mentioned, we have 6 of them. So I will briefly show what exactly what research areas are the main areas or of particular institute. So in case of Institute of Mathematics, the researchers work at both theoretical and applied mathematics. They are specialized in number theory and its application in cryptography, probability theory, or functional and differential equation, but they also undertake research on in the field of financial mathematics or biomathematics. In case of Institute of Chemistry, the most important area are focused on development of new materials which will have a specific properties, specific functionality, and which aim to improve, let's say, the materials or tools used in medical technology or food industry or photovoltaics, for example. The second important research area in the Institute of Physics is related to nanocomposites and some specific modified materials like graphene, and with the potential use of them in the environmental protection. The researchers of Institute of Chemistry also works on the designing and synthesis of drugs. They also study molecular liquids. They also there is also a big group that works on statistic chemistry, especially in terms of hemometric. Next institute is the institute in which I actually work, so it's August Chełkowski Institute of Physics, and this Institute of Physics, in this institute the research is quite broad, because we are not only talking about let's say particle physics, nuclear physics, condensed matter physics in terms of theory and experimental part of this field. But we are also thinking about or doing research on developing some methods for the cancer therapy, or working on physical aspects of quantum information, and many more. As for the research conducted in the Institute of Computer Science, they also have several main, let's say, paths of or areas of research. So methods for computational intelligence and decision-making system, some system for identification and identity verification, but also a big research on computer graphics, especially in terms of computer games. Also a lot of research on transportation systems from the point of view of system networks. And we do have also an Institute of Materials Engineering, which carries the research in the field of producing and also obtaining the information about the many types of materials. And their main, let's say, goal is to develop methods and develop for production and for characterization of materials that can be applied, for example, in electronics or mechatronics applications, that can be applied in medicine or veterinary medicine. So some of the most, let's say, important aspects touches the aspect of biomaterials, but also materials for releasing drug substances in the patient body. And also in the Institute of Materials of Engineering, a lot of research is focused on techniques and processing methods of materials that will be applied in aviation applications, and I will mention it again when I will be talking about our achievements. And the last institute is the Institute of Biomedical Engineering, and the main aim of this institute is to develop new innovative materials, biomedical materials, but also tools that will help in diagnosis and help in patient treatment. What is interesting about this institute is that most of the research is done with the cooperation with the physicians or with the cooperation with the companies which are focused on some medical inventions and So this is something unique within this institute. And what do they work on? It's general, let's say, areas, signal processing for diagnosis, or methods for modeling properties of biomedical materials, especially in terms of 3D printing. Some intelligent information systems for biomedical engineering and rehabilitation methods are under research in this institute. So how do we do our research? How do we work daily, let's say? And what are our achievements will be discussed in this next section. So our faculty has quite well developed infrastructure. We do have more than 100 laboratories, and among of them there is an accredited laboratory as well. We do have a lot of technological laboratories or specialized computer laboratories. So the infrastructure is all the time upgraded, and we are developing new laboratories as well. And here I would just like to add that we do have an administration office that I mentioned at the beginning for the infrastructure, which helps us in developing and upgrading that infrastructure. The laboratories are generally available for the employees of the and students of the faculty. So a future employee generally will have access to to all laboratories that we do have at the faculty. Additionally, we provide some analysis or some cooperation with the companies. So some of the laboratories are used for the cooperation with the industry, let's say. Okay. Few words about our achievements. So I placed here some numbers about the research outcomes since 2019. So we published in that, let's say, 3 years, a lot of books, 8 edited books, 40 author books, a lot of chapters. We published nearly 2,000 papers. I believe that till the end of the year we will have 2,000 papers, which gives something about 600 publications per year. We also think about promotion of the science in general. So many of our employees are the member of edit boards of many journals. And actually we even publish our own journal. So the Institute of Chemistry published an Acta Crystallographica journal for many, many years. I would like to also mention one of the book that was published of which that was one of the book which is called Comprehensive Hemometrics. Professor Barbara Walczak from the Institute of Chemistry is one of the authors of the book. So it's a really good book that covers all areas ranging from statistic, data acquisition, analysis, and application of many different, let's say, research in the field of the chemistry. I would like to also say something about the projects, because the projects are quite a big part of our daily work. So we generally realize our research within the framework of university research subsidy, but we also apply for a lot of different grants or projects from the external institution. So We have a relatively good rate of obtaining such projects. So within, let's say, 12 years, we realized 187 scientific projects, some educational projects, some projects with collaboration with industry. Right now, we have about 60 ongoing projects, and 11 of them are international projects. So I would like to mention 3 of them, just to show you, give you a brief information about what kind of projects we are running. I do not have time to talk about all of the 60 of them which are ongoing right now. So let me start with the project which is financed by Horizon 2020 program, and several of researchers from Institute of Chemistry, where Professor Chorążewski is the head of the team, realized a project that is focused on converting the waste energy. So the general goal of this project is to obtain the liquid with known properties and develop some specific storage system that will allow to collect and process waste energy, so that the reducing of the greenhouse gas emission and environment pollution, reducing the environment pollution would be possible. So there is full information about the project here in the link. So this was the first project. The second group of projects actually that I would like to mention about are the long-lasting projects. So we do have in our faculty a group of physicists. So to give some name, Professor Janusz Gluza, Professor Jan Kisiel, and Professor Seweryn Kowalski. They do have their own teams. They do work in the particle physics and nuclear physics at both theoretical and experimental side of research. And they do for many years realize the projects on exploring the nature of the universe. So last year we were celebrating 30 years anniversary of Poland being a member of CERN, and the group of physicists from our faculty basically gave us some specific information about their achievements, about the many projects that were finished, that are right now realized, or that are planned to realize in the future. So again, I would like to invite you to visit the website where some more information about their work and their scientific research can be found. So we had like a regular project, we have like long-lasting projects, and we also, many of our scientific teams realize the projects that are targeting current needs. So here there is just an example of one of the team from Institute of Biomedical Engineering. So Professor Cholewka and Dr. Kacprzyk were focusing on thermal measurements in the fight against the coronavirus spreading. They were doing during the pandemic a lot of research on changes of the temperature in specific environmental conditions. So this is also something which we are doing, let's say, regularly. So long-lasting projects target projects which targeting current needs and some general projects. I would like to also mention about some of our achievements in the field of commercialization. So the research we are doing in our research teams also transfer to some patents. So actually the University of Silesia is in the top university, non-technical university in terms of patent applications and industrial property rights. So we have over 600 items of industrial properties, so some inventions, some utility models, and so on. And I would like to mention few groups which are doing an interesting research. So the first group is a group of Professor Andrzej Swinarew, which is on the photo here. I've listed several of his patents here on the side, but here I would like to say that Professor Swinarew is one of the most, let's say, awarded employee in our institute in terms of innovations, patents, and so on. So he obtained a honorary badge for merits of to invention, or the title of Cavalier of Tadeusz Sędzin Association of Polish Inventions, and many other achievements. So among the selected patents, it's good to see how broad his research is. So modular hands, some swim fin, but also some specific materials with specific surface properties. We also have a group of Professor Bożena Łosiewicz. She's also a head of the accredited laboratory, the only one that we have in the University of Silesia. And she and her groups work on many different aspects, especially related to surface engineering and corrosion protections. So her group also obtained many patents focused on coatings which are bioactive, or specific polymers for certain coatings, let's say. And of course it is also highly awarded group, so a gold medal at International Warsaw Invention Show, or even a main award of the Association of European Inventors. There is also a slightly smaller group of researchers under the supervision of Professor Bogdanowicz. So this time we do have a team which works on again materials, but specific materials that will basically, that can be used in the aerospace industry. So also several important patents and important inventions. And the last group that I would like to mention is a quite big group of scientists from the Institute of Physics. So the head of the group is Professor Marian Paluch. He is, and his team works on many different aspects of physics, and more precisely biophysics. So what they are doing, they are generally focusing on molecular dynamics in condensed matter, but there are several important fields of their research, and one of them is pharmaceuticals. So again, this group also highly awarded with high number of publications, and with many different patents, starting from innovations on methods of preparation, some liquids, or preparation some stable pharmaceutical compositions. And this group is also an example of a group which went one step further in terms of, let's say, cooperation with the business. So from this group, two important, let's say, units were created. One of them, Silesia Micro Synth Group. So it's an interdisciplinary research team, and they are focused on some macromolecular chemistry and applied chemistry. So they do have a unique equipment, they do have a full offer for the industry, and I would definitely recommend to go on their website. And on the other side, we do have a company which was created a few years ago, Amorphous, a pharma development company. It generally was created to respond to the needs of the pharmaceutical market, and they basically work on solubility of some drug materials. They want to create drugs which are more available, and available in the meaning of bioavailability. And I would also recommend to visit their website. It's a regular company. They do have some involvement of an investment group or the company which is already working in the pharmaceutical field generally. Continuing the cooperation, I would just like to mention that we do believe that both education and research is important from the point of view of the business, and we do know that the transfer of the knowledge is needed, and promoting of the science as well. So we are also at the Faculty of Science and Technology. We are also focusing on several different areas of the cooperation. So, for example, we execute with the industry some joint projects. We are doing some commissioned research services. We organize some joint promotional events and create cooperation systems. But we are also focusing on promotion of the science in the local environment. So we are hosting many different scientific events. For example, a P-Day or some open days, some discussion panels and scientific picnics. This is something which we are doing quite regularly. And of course, we also have an offer or run projects which are aiming the elementary school and high school students. And we are also actively participate in many different festivals, like Silesian festivals, but also many other national or international science festivals. So just to sum up, this is what we are doing at the Faculty of Science and Technology. We do have the most important part related to education. There is also a science which is as much as important as the education, and of course we do know that the cooperation with the business and the local environment is really important aspects in our daily life. There is much more to discuss in this field, because, for example, I didn't mention anything about the startups which are running in our faculty, or didn't talk too much about scientific conferences which we are regularly organizing. So generally, this is the environment that a potential employee would meet at our faculty. I do have few slides which aiming the current offers, job offers at our department. So generally what we are looking for is a talented scientist from abroad or from Poland that will join our faculty and that who would work with us to, let's say, improve our research and improve our quality of research teaching as well. So we do have one offer which is currently available on the university website. The offer is for scientists who works in the field of chemistry, and more precisely of the physical chemistry of condensed matter. So the offer generally is open till the end of the August of this year, and some information about the job are provided as responsibilities, or what we offer as the university or as the faculty. So I would only want to mention few things from this offer, because the offers generally will be similar from different institutes. So with the exception of the points which are focused specifically at the chemistry, there are some points which relate to popularization of research, or participation of in research projects, or undertaking the activities which aim at obtaining some financial support for the research. So generally, you could see on previous slides how our popularization of research can be understood, what kind of projects we are realizing, and about the application for the projects. As I mentioned, showing the structure of the faculty, we do have an administration unit, project team, which help us to find proper project, which help us to write or to correct the projects that we want to apply. There are some, it's still the same offer. There are some qualification requirements that I not necessarily want to read, because it's available on the website, but I would also like to comment the additional requirements that are mentioned in the offer. So there is a part where the readiness for many different things is mentioned, like for the mobility, for the sharing the knowledge, or for the cooperation with the industry, or scientific units. So it can also be understood as what I was talking previously. Sharing through knowledge through I don't know, going on the conferences, or organizing them, or applying for the projects that will help to develop the knowledge of our students. And there would be soon a new job opportunities. I believe that within a few weeks they will appear. So I think that there are two from Institute of Physics, and definitely one from Institute of Materials Engineering. So please check the website, because soon they gonna appear. So at the really end, I would like to just introduce you to our authorities. So the head of the faculty, the dean of the Faculty of Science of Technology is Professor Danuta Strusz, and we also have deputy deans for research and international collaboration, Professor Seweryn Kowalski, Deputy Dean for Education and Student Affairs, Professor Malicka, and Deputy of Promotion and Development, Professor Agnieszka Nowak-Brzezińska. And of course, our institute have their own directors. In Institute of Chemistry, the director is Professor Mirosław Orążewski, Professor Pawlus, director of the Institute of Physics, Professor Porwik, director of the Institute of Computer Science, Professor Katarzyna Horbacz, Institute of Mathematics, Professor Józef Daniszczyk, the director of Institute of Materials Engineering, and Professor Sebastian Stach, the director of Biomedical Engineering. If you'd like to get some more information about the institute profiles, please visit the website that I placed here. And at the really end, I would like just to mention that not so far ago, like a year ago, the University of Silesia became a part of the universities, 7 different universities alliance, Transform for Europe. So new opportunities for development, professional development in the research, but also in teaching will appear soon. So thank you for the attention, and if there are any questions, please feel free to ask.
Okay, so I have one question on our chat about interdisciplinary research. How do you provide it on your faculty? How it works?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so generally our lab within the faculty are let's say open. So it is quite often then that, for example, people from the Institute of Chemistry would ask people from the physics to do some kind of joint research or even write common projects. So I would even say that looking at my experience, I probably have more publications from the collaboration within the faculty than from my own research. And it's even go further, so it's quite often that some researchers from different disciplines, like for example biology or paleontology or many others, also try to solve some problems and ask us for help. So again, or it will be a cooperation based on, let's say, doing some kind of research, or through common projects, or sometimes even common, let's say, projects, but more aimed at related with students' work. So, for example, a master degree in a specific field or PhD study can also be led internationally.
Thank you for your answer. I think that interdisciplinary research are very important for future and making science, right?
Yes, definitely. Especially that we have tools that not necessarily, each discipline has its own tools that sometimes can fastly answer the questions from other disciplines. Yes.
Yes, and a different point of view for a problem.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Thank you for your speech and introducing us Faculty of Science and Technology. And now I would like to invite you for a short break. See you at 12.
Witaj w Katowicach, stolicy województwa śląskiego. Gotowa na spacer? Jesteś na katowickim kampusie Uniwersytetu Śląskiego. Wydział Humanistyczny wprowadził się do tego budynku w 2021 roku. Zajrzymy do środka. A teraz chodźmy odwiedzić samorząd studencki. To zaraz za rogiem przy Bankowej 14. W tym budynku można też studiować matematykę. W budynku pod numerem 12 znajduje się siedziba rektoratu. Tutaj pracują władze uczelni, a Tobie polecam Centrum Obsługi Studentów, czyli wyjątkowo kolorowe miejsce w rektoracie. Chodźmy do sąsiadów z naprzeciwka. Wydział Nauk Społecznych przy ulicy Bankowej 11 kształci socjologów, politologów i dziennikarzy, którzy szlifują swoje umiejętności w nowoczesnym studium. Studia to wiedza, książki i rozmowy ze znajomymi. Pokażę Ci miejsce, w którym połączysz wszystkie te trzy elementy. Mieści się tu Centrum Informacji Naukowej i Biblioteka Akademicka. I jeszcze jedno. Stąd jest już bardzo blisko do gwiazd. A to Wydział Prawa i Administracji. W XXI wieku wprowadził się do nowego budynku o niezwykłej architekturze. Tutaj także studenci przekuwają teorię w praktykę. Nasz kampus znajduje się nad rzeką Rawą, którą staramy się przywrócić miastu i jego mieszkańcom. Właśnie tu zorganizowaliśmy 5. edycję Śląskiego Festiwalu Nauki, w której wzięło udział 30 000 ludzi. Pora przejść na drugą stronę rzeki. Budynek Instytutu Chemii jest zabytkowy, ale badania, które w nim prowadzimy, są nowoczesne. Sprawdzimy skład chemiczny wody z Rawy. Widzę, że wciągnęła Cię praca w laboratorium. To może obejrzymy z bliska rośliny, które rosną nad Rawą. 2 kroki stąd jest Instytut Biologii, Biotechnologii i Ochrony Środowiska. Czas na spacer ulicą Warszawską, która powstała na długo zanim Katowice stały się miastem. Uważaj, żeby nie przegapić skrętu w lewo. Przy ulicy Pawła III mieści się Szkoła Filmowa imienia Krzysztofa Kieślowskiego, w której kształcimy m.in. reżyserów, operatorów i producentów filmowych. Wielokrotnie nagradzany budynek Szkoły Filmowej to połączenie tradycyjnej śląskiej architektury z finezją nowoczesności zaproponowaną przez hiszpańskich architektów. W tych pięknych wnętrzach uczą się młodzi filmowcy, których dzieła są oglądane na całym świecie. Także w Katowicach, gdzie nie brakuje kultowych kin. Czas na dłuższy spacer, w trakcie którego zobaczysz wizytówki miasta, strefę kultury i legendarny spodek. To Wydział Nauk Społecznych przy ulicy Grażyńskiego 53, gdzie uczymy przyszłych pedagogów i psychologów. Spacer ulicami Mariacką i Dworcową to dobry moment na łyk kawy. Wydział Nauk Przyrodniczych mieści się przy ulicy Jagiellońskiej. Sprawdzimy, co jest w środku. Zajmujemy się tu m.in. badaniami roślin i mikroorganizmów. Nieopodal katedry znajduje się siedziba Wydziału Teologicznego. Jesteśmy w dzielnicy Ligota, gdzie znajdują się nasze akademiki. Tutaj swoją siedzibę ma studenckie radio Egida. Opowiesz na antenie o dzisiejszej wyprawie? A to tylko początek Twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody. Witaj w Cieszynie, mieście, w którym stykają się dwie kultury – polska i czeska. Jak najlepiej zacząć poznawać nowe miejsce, kierując się z punktu A do punktu B na własnych nogach. Jesteś na miejscu. Wydział Sztuki i Naukoedukacji. Tu kształtują się i rozwijają swoje pasje przedstawiciele nauk społecznych i humanistycznych oraz środowisk artystycznych. Cieszyński kampus jest jednym z najpiękniejszych obiektów Uniwersytetu Śląskiego. Jest w tym więcej niż ziarno prawdy, nie sądzisz? Instytut Sztuk Plastycznych jest domeną ludzi sztuki, grafików, malarzy, rzeźbiarzy, rysowników, projektantów graficznych i fotografów. Uczymy tu też projektowania gier i przestrzeni wirtualnej. Instytut Sztuk Muzycznych jest kuźnią młodych instrumentalistów, wokalistów i realizatorów nagrań. Teraz przyszedł czas na zasłużony relaks. Kieruj się do centrum. Jesteś na cieszyńskim rynku. Rozejrzyj się. Ładnie tu, prawda? Ten czarujący rynek powstał pod koniec XV wieku. Nadal można tu znaleźć pozostałości po średniowiecznej zabudowie. W Cieszynie nie brakuje miejsc z dobrą kawą. Znasz tę budowlę, prawda? Rotunda w Cieszynie ma już około 1000 lat. A wiedziałaś, że w Cieszynie jest Wenecja? Chodźmy tam. Historia cieszyńskiej Wenecji sięga XVI wieku. Znajdziesz tutaj zabytkową architekturę, a także liczne puby i restauracje. Cieszyn to miasto spotkanie dwóch kultur. Po drugiej stronie rzeki są Czechy. A teraz w góry. A to tylko początek twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody. Drogowa trasa średnicowa, którą właśnie jedziesz, to największa drogowa inwestycja województwa śląskiego. To właśnie tą trasą dojedziesz do Śląskiego Międzyuczelnianego Centrum Edukacji i Badań Interdyscyplinarnych, w którym od 2019 roku działa Wydział Nauk Ścisłych i Technicznych. 140 nowoczesnych laboratoriów i pracowni badawczych, multimedialna biblioteka, dziekanaty czy audiowizualne aule. Aha, widzę, że nie tylko mnie przydałby się odpoczynek. Rozgość się w wydziałowej strefie aktywności studenckiej. A teraz wyjrzyj przez okno. Obok budynku znajduje się wielofunkcyjna strefa aktywności, która łączy lokalną i uniwersytecką społeczność. Gotowa na dalsze poznawanie uroków Chorzowa? Obiecuję, że to miasto jeszcze nie raz Cię zaskoczy. Chorzowski rynek jest prawdopodobnie jedynym placem w Polsce, który został podzielony na pół drogą szybkiego ruchu, tak zwaną estakadą. To galeria sztuki muzycznej i obrazu. Po drugiej stronie estakady mieści się siedziba Teatru Rozrywki. To jedna z najważniejszych polskich scen teatralnych. Zachwycający, prawda? Budynek Poczty Polskiej to prawdziwa neogotycka wizytówka miasta. Postindustrialne obiekty miasta znajdują się także na szlaku zabytków techniki naszego województwa, który jest najbardziej interesującą trasą turystyki industrialnej w Polsce. Pokażę Ci jeszcze zielone płuca Chorzowa, czyli Park Śląski. To blisko 600 hektarów zieleni, Śląski Park Linowy, ścieżki rowerowe i śląskie wesołe miasteczko nazywane Legendią. W parku mamy także coś dla miłośników wiedzy. Planetarium Śląski Park Nauki. A to prawdziwa legenda – Stadion Śląski. To właśnie tutaj latem odbywają się liczne koncerty, warsztaty czy zloty food trucków. A to tylko początek Twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody. Sosnowiec powstał i rozwinął się dzięki tysiącom ludzi, którzy w krótkim czasie przyjechali tu z różnych stron. Zwiedzanie zaczynamy od Wydziału Nauk Przyrodniczych, który w Sosnowcu ma swoją siedzibę w najwyższym budynku akademickim w Polsce, czyli popularnej Żylecie. Dinozaurzyca Zuzia stoi tu nie bez powodu. W Żylecie znajduje się Muzeum Nauk o Ziemi, a studiują tu przyszli geolodzy i geografowie. A teraz chodźmy zobaczyć, jak wygląda miasto z wysokości 80 metrów. Przy ulicy Będzińskiej studiują też przyszli informatycy. Pójdziemy zobaczyć, gdzie się uczą. Nieopodal Żylety znajduje się miasteczko akademickie. Chyba czas pomyśleć o zakwaterowaniu. Jeżeli już się zadomowiłaś, pora na dalsze zwiedzanie. Nowoczesny budynek przy ulicy Grota Roweckiego 5 jest jedną z siedzib Wydziału Humanistycznego Uniwersytetu Śląskiego. Dominują tu języki nowożytne, a może spróbujesz swoich sił w tłumaczeniu symultanicznym? Sosnowiec powstał jako miasto wielokulturowe. Kiedyś różnymi językami mówiono na ulicach, a dziś w salach wykładowych. Pałac Dietla to jedna z pereł Sosnowca. Pochodzi z końca XIX wieku. Zwiedziłaś ciekawy zabytek, a teraz pora na odrobinę nowoczesności. Zagłębiowska Mediateka to dobre miejsce dla studentów. W Sosnowcu można dobrze spędzać czas na różne sposoby, o każdej porze dnia i roku. A to tylko początek Twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Piotr Pinior. I represent the Faculty of Law and Administration. I'm a Deputy Dean for Research and Director of the Institute of Law, and I'm going to share with you some information about our faculty today. So the agenda is going to be as follows, so divided into 4 categories. I mean people, research, which is obviously the most important part, didactics, and faculty as a whole. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our structure, about the Dean's crew and the employees. And then what is, I think, most important and most interesting for you, the research we have at our institute. And about the grants that we have, because they are quite interesting topics. Finally, I'm going to mention our courses while talking about the didactics, and I show you our building, I show you our faculty. So, as for the Dean's crew, you can see here our Dean. So, Professor Czesław Martysz is the Dean of the Faculty of Law. And there are 2 deputy deans. The first deputy dean for students and education, Professor Dorota Łoboskotowska, and I am responsible for the research. We have also Dean's Plenipotentiary for international cooperation, because this is one of the parts that we really put emphasis on. So as for the Institute of Law, we have more than 120 employees. And we are divided into research teams. So there are actually 2 possibilities. Either you can be in a research team, and do your research activity in a group. Or you can also have individual research activities. It means that some topics may be realized solely by one researcher. In most cases, our employees use both those possibilities. They are in research teams and also realize some individual projects in individual research activities. As for academic staff, we have 118 research didactic posts and 6 only research posts, and these are created due to grant fundings. So it is very important that some of our researchers do not have to bear didactics, just can do research what is funded by grants, of course, and only 5 exclusively didactic posts. As for the administration staff, administrative staff, we have Office for Evaluation and Service of Institute, Didactic Office, International Cooperation Office, and faculty project teams, which is quite important due to the grants we want to obtain. So as for the research, now I'm going to show you and tell you briefly what branches of law are covered in our institute, and I give you the examples of some grants, some topics realized by our employees. A very strong team is the team of civil law, because it covers a lot of different issues connected with civil law. So starting with private international law, European and Polish private law, environmental protection, agricultural law. Of course, we have some research connected with civil procedure, intellectual property, real estate, smart contracts and artificial intelligence, and what might be surprising, also design and fashion law. We have also research on commercial law, Polish and European company law, labor law, or insolvency law. So as you see, there's a wide range of research in this field. We have, of course, research also dedicated to criminal and public law. In particular, while talking about criminal law, I should mention penal, criminal, criminology and criminalistic, which is quite strong at our faculty, and also penitentiary law. In respect of the public law, there is of course constitutional law, public international law, public business law, financial administrative law, administrative and juridical administrative procedure, and local government law. And last but not least, history of law and theory and philosophy of law, very strong teams which we have at our faculty. Some of the research are dedicated to heritage of legal culture, judication of totalitarian systems, history of state and law, of course. And mentioning the theory and philosophy of law, we have ethical values, legal anthropology, bioethics, and what might be also very interesting, animal protection. So talking about research cannot be separated from grants that we have. In the last evaluation term, we had obtained many grants, most of them from the National Science Center, but also we have some Norway grants, both in research and didactics. And of course, what seems for me extremely interesting and important, research projects from the European Commission. We have also some additional projects, one of them founded also by Norway grants. So I would like to now present you some exemplary topics realized due to grants, and some exemplary information about the people who realize those projects. So firstly, we have Professor Bogdan Dolnicki. Professor Dolnicki is a specialist in administrative law and local government law, and his research is dedicated to the legal status of Metropolitan Association in Poland in comparison to France. So it's a comparative legal study, and it is quite interdisciplinary, because it covers matters related to administrative and private law, in particular real estate and valuation. So in every case that you see a person, you see the title of the project, you can also find some information about the publication which were created due to the grant. Here we have an example of a return to the metropolis by Professor Bogdan Dolnicki, admissibility of a major being the governing bodies of a commercial company, or efficiency of territorial self-government administration. So in the following grants, I'm not going to read all of them to you, but you can easily find it then on the presentation. Another example of very interesting research is our research made by Professor Magdalena Habdas. She has a very interesting grant dedicated to tenancy law and housing policy in multi-level Europe. And what is quite interesting, compensation of landowners in the vicinity of airports, current dilemmas and future challenges. It's again an example of our interdisciplinary research, because it covers family law, private law, and also administrative law. Here you can even have the example of some German publications, not only Polish ones, not only English. For example, we have here, due to the project, Lösung der Nachbarschaftskonflikte zwischen Flughäfen und Wohneigentümer, rechtsvergleichende Aspekte. And some example of English articles, just like challenges to the effective protection of agricultural and forested land in the context of spatial planning and climate protection. The next example is Dr. Bartosianik, our researcher who obtained the post at our faculty due to the Sonatina grant, and he has a very interesting topic on theory of law, which is a hindsight bias in judicial decision making. And this is only Dr. Bartosianik has only the research post, solely research post, because, as I've mentioned, he has his post due to the grant. What makes me happy and what is quite important, the grants from the grants of Professor Monika Jagielska are from European Commission. So very important and a huge amount of money which flows to our faculty and our university. Also very interesting because we have here cross-border litigation in Central Europe and multi-agent systems for pervasive artificial intelligence. So this, especially the second one, it is in the highlights, which is now very common all over the world. So artificial intelligence seems now to be one of the most important and most often represented research. Our specialist from international law and human rights is Professor Barbara Mikołajczyk. Professor Barbara Mikołajczyk has also grants dedicated to the protection of human rights in respect of elderly people. For example, social and digital inclusion of older people as a special task for NGOs. And she's not only taking up the research on elderly people, but, for example, also refugees, what seems to be of highest importance now at the crisis in Ukraine. And here you have the example of her publication, The Migrant Crisis and Refugees, a Crisis of EU Solidarity. A person that I must mention is our Vice-Rector, Professor Tomasz Piochikovsky. He is a specialist on animal protection, and his grants are also dedicated to that specific area of law. However, he is a representative of theory and philosophy of law, so it is, we could say, wide conceptual research on the animal protection. As our another employee who obtained the post due to grants, in this case sponsored by Norway Grants, so is Dr. Mauro Arturo de Rivera Leon. He's an expert in constitutional law. Actually, he came to Poland from Mexico. He obtained a grant to do the research at our faculty, and he's doing now his research on qualified majorities in counter-majority mechanism towards a new theory of supermajorities in judicial review. He was also working as a judge at the tribunal, constitutional tribunal in Mexico. Another example is criminal law. Here we have the standards of respect of the religious right of person detained in prison. So a kind of research dedicated to penitentiary law, and this research is also realized in connection with our Czech friends. So here you have another example of the cooperation, the role of criminal law in protection of children's rights in Polish and Czech legislation. And last but not least, our Dean's plenipotentiary for the international cooperation. Here's the example of another grant, which is from the German Polish Foundation. Professor Ewa Rot-Pietrzyk is a specialist in civil law, and here we have the research, which is die schuldrechtliche Elemente, die den Erbenstatus beeinflussen im polnischen und deutschen Erbrecht, die rechtsvergleichende Herausforderung und die Perspektive der Annäherung beider Rechtssysteme. So you can see that there are not only usual English language speaking researcher, but also the German speaking, which is not so common now. I would like to mention about the journals we have we added at our faculty. So the first one, legal issues in mining and environmental protection. It is quite new, but it is very vivid, and I must say that the development of this journal is quite rapid, and there are a lot of interest on it. We have problems of criminal law. We have the journal on labor law and social policy issues. And another one of the highest importance for me, problems of private international law. We have also journals on criminal policy and history of law. While talking about research, one cannot lose the focus on international cooperation. Here you can see that this international cooperation may not be solely effective in research, but also in didactic, because we have School of Chinese Law and Culture, we have School of American Law, and also School of Spanish Law at our faculty. So we cooperate with different universities in this respect, with Beijing Foreign Studies University, Northeastern University, Shenyang, universities from United States such as Loyola University, University of Arkansas or Toledo, and we have also cooperation with Spanish or Latin American universities such as Universidad Panamérica, Academia Interamericana de Derechos Humanos y también Universidad de Vigo. These are the examples when we connect didactic and research. And there are some further international cooperation examples, such as program for postgraduates and for PhD candidates, PhD students. They have a special program in which they visit 4 different universities and they do research in 4 different places. And lately we had in this program, apart of course from our students also from Belgium, Croatia, England, Germany or Slovakia and Spain. Another example is cooperation with Austria, Czech Republic, Slovakia and Ukraine, so Central European universities. Actually I'm one of the team here, so we have a conference, international conference every 2 years. And also we added a monograph collection of samples prepared by the representatives of different universities. We have also an offer for visiting professor. Lately we had professors from China, Denmark, Mexico, Netherlands and Slovakia. And mentioning the didactics, I'm not going to concentrate on that too much. Just I would like you to know what types of courses we offer at our faculty. So firstly, it's the course of law. It lasts 5 years in Poland, so there is only one stage of it, and we have 2 other courses in which we have both master's and bachelor's courses. This is administration and business law. One of our highlights is IBLA. So it is International Business Law and Arbitration. This is the course which is in English. Exclusively. So in this course we discuss the matter of international topics concerning business and concerning law. And finally, in environmental protection. In the 2 last courses we have only master courses. We try to engage, and it is effective. The trials are effective. We try to engage our students in our research. So it starts with the legal clinic or with the research clubs. They are quite popular among students and they are deeply involved in research, thinking about their future career. As for our faculty, well, I must say that we have a very nice building. I like it very much, and well, it's quite new. So it is quite modern, I would say. So we have comfortable situation at our faculty. We also have a law library, which is dedicated especially for lawyers, and we have a lot of Polish, English, French, Italian, German, German volumes, also other languages just like Slovakia or Czech Republic or Ukraine, because we have international cooperation in that fields. We have a lot of journal titles which we offer there, and also databases. And our faculty is located in the center of our city. You can see the red sign here. So it is the place where the faculty is located, just in the middle of the city. And now I would like to show you the building that we have and show the places around which we have near our university as a whole and near our faculty, because I'm going to show you a film which was prepared to demonstrate our faculty.
Studenten von der ganzen Welt herzlich ein.
Je suis très heureux de vous souhaiter la bienvenue. I'm very pleased to meet you in Katowice.
Entonces, hasta la vista en Katowice, un lugar perfecto para estudiar y hacer una carrera. Well, so thank you very much for your attention. It was a pleasure for me to tell you the most important things about our faculty. Of course, should you need any details and any other information, you can contact me or contact our faculty. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor. You have mentioned the big library which you have on your faculty, and what's even more interesting, that it provides access to database. Can you tell us something more about this database?
Yes, of course. Our library offers a lot of traditional volumes, of course, but now it is not sufficient. Now we must have developed our electronic sources, so we have a lot of databases dedicated for lawyers, of course. So we have the Polish databases such as Legalis or Lex, they're called, but of course we have also access to international databases. In particular, Back Online is worth mentioning, because due to Back Online you have access to German, Slovakian, French law. Yeah, so it is quite important that you have not only the legal sources, just like the acts, yeah, but also the publications, which what is really important in our job. And of course we have Oxford journals, we have Westlaw International, we have also some other databases connected with the legal journals that are common all over Europe.
Thank you very much for this clarification, and thank you for being with us today, Professor.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure for me. Thank you.
The next meeting will be at 1 p.m. So see you at the moment.
Uniwersytet Śląski w Katowicach to bardzo dobre miejsce do pracy, dające duże możliwości w zakresie współpracy międzynarodowej. Od lipca 2020 roku jesteśmy członkiem Uniwersytetu Europejskiego Transform for Europe.
A laboratórium tökéletesen felszerelt, és egy kiváló helyszínt biztosít a tudományos kutatásaim elvégzésére. A kollégáim rendkívül segítőkészek.
Lavoro come microbiologo all'Università di Silesia in Katowice, dove mi occupo nella mia attività di ricerca di migliorare il futuro del nostro ambiente.
The University of Silesia is an ever-growing and evolving scientific institution where young scientists, researchers, and students can come, learn, grow, build their career, and then make a contribution back to the local population.
실레지아 대학교에서 연구하고 강의하는 것은 저에게 폴란드 문화와 폴란드 언어를 더욱 깊게 이해하게 해주며 유서 깊고 다양한 실레지아 문화를 만나게 해줍니다.
Jako matka samoživitelka oceňuji možnost přizpůsobit si rozvrh hodin svým potřebám. Jako akademický pracovník plně pociťuji podporu univerzity, pokud jde o můj akademický rozvoj.
Powiększanie dobra wspólnego, jakimi są nauka i edukacja, oto unikalny składnik pracy w Uniwersytecie Śląskim.
Uniwersytet tworzą ludzie. To im staramy się zapewnić dobre warunki pracy oraz atmosferę sprzyjającą prowadzeniu badań na międzynarodowym poziomie. Działania podejmowane przez Uniwersytet są zgodne z zaleceniami Europejskiej Strategii przy zatrudnianiu naukowców, o czym świadczy przyznane Uniwersytetowi wyróżnienie HR Excellence in Research.
Nazywam się Małgorzata Myśliwiec, jestem profesorem w Instytucie Nauk Politycznych Uniwersytetu Śląskiego w Katowicach.
Sono Franco Magurno. Lavoro come microbiologo all'Università di Silesia in Katowice.
Nádudzvari Ádám vagyok, és a Sziléziai Egyetem természettudományi tanszékén dolgozok, adjunktusként másfél éve.
Jmenuji se Lucie Zormanová a pracuji na Institutu pedagogiky jako odborný asistent.
My name's Alexander Lowe. I work in the Institute of Chemistry as part of the Faculty of Science and Technology.
저는 실레지아 대학교에서 연구하는 유창일이라고 합니다.
Nazywam się Ryszard Koziołek. Jestem nauczycielem, badaczem, profesorem, rektorem Uniwersytetu Śląskiego.
Nazywam się Małgorzata Hurpa-Łapniak, jestem psychologiem i pracuję w dziale HR Uniwersytetu Śląskiego.
Witaj w Cieszynie, mieście, w którym stykają się dwie kultury, polska i czeska. Jak najlepiej zacząć poznawać nowe miejsce, kierując się z punktu A do punktu B na własnych nogach. Jesteś na miejscu. Wydział Sztuki i Nauk o Edukacji. Tu kształtują się i rozwijają swoje pasje przedstawiciele nauk społecznych i humanistycznych oraz środowisk artystycznych. Cieszyński kampus jest jednym z najpiękniejszych obiektów Uniwersytetu Śląskiego. Jest w tym więcej niż ziarno prawdy, nie sądzisz? Instytut Sztuk Plastycznych jest domeną ludzi sztuki, grafików, malarzy, rzeźbiarzy, rysowników, projektantów graficznych i fotografów. Uczymy tu też projektowania gier i przestrzeni wirtualnej. Instytut Sztuk Muzycznych jest kuźnią młodych instrumentalistów, wokalistów i realizatorów nagrań. Teraz przyszedł czas na zasłużony relaks. Kieruj się do centrum. Jesteś na cieszyńskim rynku. Rozejrzyj się. Ładnie tu, prawda? Ten czarujący rynek powstał pod koniec XV wieku. Nadal można tu znaleźć pozostałości po średniowiecznej zabudowie. W Cieszynie nie brakuje miejsc z dobrą kawą. Znasz tę budowlę, prawda? Rotunda w Cieszynie ma już około 1000 lat. A wiedziałaś, że w Cieszynie jest Wenecja? Chodźmy tam. Historia cieszyńskiej Wenecji sięga XVI wieku. Znajdziesz tutaj zabytkową architekturę, a także liczne puby i restauracje. Cieszyn to miasto spotkanie dwóch kultur. Po drugiej stronie rzeki są Czechy. A teraz w góry. A to tylko początek twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody. Drogowa trasa średnicowa, którą właśnie jedziesz, to największa drogowa inwestycja województwa śląskiego. To właśnie tą trasą dojedziesz do Śląskiego Międzyuczelnianego Centrum Edukacji i Badań Interdyscyplinarnych, w którym od 2019 roku działa Wydział Nauk Ścisłych i Technicznych. 140 nowoczesnych laboratoriów i pracowni badawczych, multimedialna biblioteka, dziekanaty czy audiowizualne aule. Aha, widzę, że nie tylko mnie przydałby się odpoczynek. Rozgość się w wydziałowej strefie aktywności studenckiej. A teraz wyjrzyj przez okno. Obok budynku znajduje się wielofunkcyjna strefa aktywności, która łączy lokalną i uniwersytecką społeczność. Gotowa na dalsze poznawanie uroków Chorzowa? Obiecuję, że to miasto jeszcze nie raz Cię zaskoczy. Chorzowski rynek jest prawdopodobnie jedynym placem w Polsce, który został podzielony na pół drogą szybkiego ruchu, tak zwaną estakadą. To Galeria Sztuki Muzycznej i Obrazu. Po drugiej stronie estakady mieści się siedziba Teatru Rozrywki. To jedna z najważniejszych polskich scen teatralnych. Zachwycający, prawda? Budynek Poczty Polskiej to prawdziwa neogotycka wizytówka miasta. Postindustrialne obiekty miasta znajdują się także na szlaku zabytków techniki naszego województwa, który jest najbardziej interesującą trasą turystyki industrialnej w Polsce. Pokażę Ci jeszcze zielone płuca Chorzowa, czyli Park Śląski. To blisko 600 hektarów zieleni, Śląski Park Linowy, ścieżki rowerowe i śląskie wesołe miasteczko nazywane Legendią. parku mamy także coś dla miłośników wiedzy. Planetarium Śląski Park Nauki. A to prawdziwa legenda – Stadion Śląski. To właśnie tutaj latem odbywają się liczne koncerty, warsztaty czy zloty food trucków. A to tylko początek Twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody. Witaj w Katowicach, stolicy województwa śląskiego. Gotowa na spacer? Jesteś na katowickim kampusie Uniwersytetu Śląskiego. Wydział Humanistyczny wprowadził się do tego budynku w 2021 roku. Zajrzymy do środka. A teraz chodźmy odwiedzić samorząd studencki. To zaraz za rogiem przy Bankowej 14. W tym budynku można też studiować matematykę. W budynku pod numerem 12 znajduje się siedziba rektoratu. Tutaj pracują władze uczelni, a Tobie polecam Centrum Obsługi Studentów, czyli wyjątkowo kolorowe miejsce w rektoracie. Chodźmy do sąsiadów z naprzeciwka. Wydział Nauk Społecznych przy ulicy Bankowej 11 kształci socjologów, politologów i dziennikarzy, którzy szlifują swoje umiejętności w nowoczesnym studiu. Studia to wiedza, książki i rozmowy ze znajomymi. Pokażę Ci miejsce, w którym połączysz wszystkie te trzy elementy. Mieści się tu Centrum Informacji Naukowej i Biblioteka Akademicka. I jeszcze jedno. Stąd jest już bardzo blisko do gwiazd. A to Wydział Prawa i Administracji. W XXI wieku wprowadził się do nowego budynku o niezwykłej architekturze. Tutaj także studenci przekuwają teorię w praktykę. Nasz kampus znajduje się nad rzeką Rawą, którą staramy się przywrócić miastu i jego mieszkańcom. Właśnie tu zorganizowaliśmy 5. edycję Śląskiego Festiwalu Nauki, w której wzięło udział 30 000 ludzi. Pora przejść na drugą stronę rzeki. Budynek Instytutu Chemii jest zabytkowy, ale badania, które w nim prowadzimy, są nowoczesne. Sprawdzimy skład chemiczny wody z Rawy. Widzę, że wciągnęła Cię praca w laboratorium. To może obejrzymy z bliska rośliny, które rosną nad Rawą. 2 kroki stąd jest Instytut Biologii, Biotechnologii i Ochrony Środowiska. Czas na spacer ulicą Warszawską, która powstała na długo zanim Katowice stały się miastem. Uważaj, żeby nie przegapić skrętu w lewo. Przy ulicy Pawła III mieści się Szkoła Filmowa imienia Krzysztofa Kieślowskiego, w której kształcimy m.in. reżyserów, operatorów i producentów filmowych. Wielokrotnie nagradzany budynek Szkoły Filmowej to połączenie tradycyjnej śląskiej architektury z finezją nowoczesności zaproponowaną przez hiszpańskich architektów. W tych pięknych wnętrzach uczą się młodzi filmowcy, których dzieła są oglądane na całym świecie. Także w Katowicach, gdzie nie brakuje kultowych kin. Czas na dłuższy spacer, w trakcie którego zobaczysz wizytówki miasta, strefę kultury i legendarny spodek. To Wydział Nauk Społecznych przy ulicy Grażyńskiego 53, gdzie uczymy przyszłych pedagogów i psychologów. Spacer ulicami Mariacką i Dworcową to dobry moment na łyk kawy. Wydział Nauk Przyrodniczych mieści się przy ulicy Jagiellońskiej. Sprawdzimy, co jest w środku. Zajmujemy się tu m.in. badaniami roślin i mikroorganizmów. Nieopodal katedry znajduje się siedziba Wydziału Teologicznego. Jesteśmy w dzielnicy Ligota, gdzie znajdują się nasze akademiki. Tutaj swoją siedzibę ma studenckie radio Egida. Opowiesz na antenie o dzisiejszej wyprawie? A to tylko początek Twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody. Sosnowiec powstał i rozwinął się dzięki tysiącom ludzi, którzy w krótkim czasie przyjechali tu z różnych stron. Zwiedzanie zaczynamy od Wydziału Nauk Przyrodniczych, który w Sosnowcu ma swoją siedzibę w najwyższym budynku akademickim w Polsce, czyli popularnej Żylecie. Dinozaurzyca Zuzia stoi tu nie bez powodu. W Żylecie znajduje się Muzeum Nauk o Ziemi, a studiują tu przyszli geolodzy i geografowie. A teraz chodźmy zobaczyć, jak wygląda miasto z wysokości 80 metrów. Przy ulicy Będzińskiej studiują też przyszli informatycy. Pójdziemy zobaczyć, gdzie się uczą. Nieopodal Żylety znajduje się miasteczko akademickie. Chyba czas pomyśleć o zakwaterowaniu. Jeżeli już się zadomowiłaś, pora na dalsze zwiedzanie. Nowoczesny budynek przy ulicy Grota Roweckiego 5 jest jedną z siedzib Wydziału Humanistycznego Uniwersytetu Śląskiego. Dominują tu języki nowożytne, a może spróbujesz swoich sił w tłumaczeniu symultanicznym? Sosnowiec powstał jako miasto wielokulturowe. Kiedyś różnymi językami mówiono na ulicach, a dziś w salach wykładowych. Pałac Dietla to jedna z pereł Sosnowca. Pochodzi z końca XIX wieku. Zwiedziłaś ciekawy zabytek, a teraz pora na odrobinę nowoczesności. Zagłębiowska Mediateka to dobre miejsce dla studentów. W Sosnowcu można dobrze spędzać czas na różne sposoby, o każdej porze dnia i roku. A to tylko początek Twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody. Przez całe życie doświadczamy świata.
Doświadczenia definiują nas od najmłodszych lat.
Obserwujemy, uczymy się, patrzymy coraz dalej.
Błędy, wyzwania i porażki to także nauka.
Krok po kroku uczymy się, jak zmieniać naszą rzeczywistość.
Nasze sukcesy osiągamy dzięki doświadczeniu.
Dzielimy się pasjami, tworzymy i dajemy upust kreatywności.
Pewne doświadczenia zostają z nami na całe życie. Dzięki ciekawości świata docieramy w nowe miejsca i rozwijamy się. Wszyscy doświadczamy różnych sytuacji, zdarzeń i zjawisk. Uniwersytet opiera się na doświadczaniu.
Uniwersytet Śląski.
Welcome to the day or the hour of Kieślowski Film School of the University of Silesia in Katowice. I'm very happy to be here with you, even though it's online. But on the other hand, I think that it's the best example of what the school looks like and how we actually are. I'm connecting with you from Cannes Film Festival. We are in Cannes since the opening, since the 17th, and we're going to stay a little bit longer. And we are where the films are being showcased, so in the heart of cinema right now in Europe. So I'm very happy to be here with you. I have a short presentation for you. Let me share my screen. And then, of course, it's not from the beginning. So as I said, our school is called Kieślowski Film School. In Polish version, it actually also has the name of Krzysztof Kieślowski, but it is one of the things that is a tongue breaker. So we also go by with a short name of Kieślowski Film School. We are part of the University of Silesia, but at the same time, we are a little bit more independent and also a little bit more different, since the number of students that we teach, the way we teach is different, and also the way we work is different than the standard university professors, standard university teaching is. And I would like to just walk you through our school. It's a pity that we can't meet in Katowice in place, because we have an amazing new building since 2019 with all the equipment that we need and with all the rooms that we might need. So it's just amazing to be there. But here with the online version, I think that I can give you a little bit of taste of what we are and who we are. So Kieślowski Film School is a film faculty. And it's already 40 years, if I'm counting it now very quickly, correctly, the Faculty of University of Silesia. In the beginning, we were called Faculty of Radio and Television, which actually is very interesting because we hardly ever taught any radio. But as you probably know very well, also from your own experience at different universities, it's always so much easier to change what we teach rather than to change names. So we're very happy to be a film faculty right now called Film School. We're actually one of 2 Polish film schools that are public in Poland. The other film schools are private. So we're very happy to say that we are the leaders, and we every year have a lot of candidates and are able to choose only the best of the very best. The new building you can see on my right, and hopefully also on your right, it is a very nice place to work in, since it's within this city center of Katowice. And as you probably know, Silesia is an industrial region of Poland, and within Katowice there is a lot of nice brick buildings, a lot of old mines that are now changed into cinemas or some exhibition halls. I actually been to a bar that's 300 meters under the ground. And our film school is also within these buildings, and it's really nicely connected. I think we have to thank the designers and architects from Spain, if I'm not wrong. The building has won a lot of awards. And we're very proud of it. But of course, film school is not only the building, although the building is nice to have, but it's mostly who works within it. And we're employing almost 30 filmmakers. And when I'm saying employing, these are the work contracts. At the same time, we work in cooperation with more than 20 film industry professionals. These are the people that do one workshop a semester or more workshops a semester, but they are not bound with a working contract. It's got various reasons. Not always filmmakers want work contracts. So we're very, very much interested in working with people who do make films, who do work at festivals, who run festivals, who work in film commissions, who are sales agents, who are basically professionals in the film industry, because these are the people that later on our students, graduates will meet very often, and we're very proud to say that our students already from the second year of their studies, they work in industry, they work on film sets, maybe not in the position of production managers yet, but they are already active there. And we're also very happy that our professors actually employ them. So it's really nice, and we create a family from day one. I'm here in Cannes with 7 other students, so I also brought some folks with me. We are actually creating now a documentary film that we got funding for. So we're also not just visiting Cannes and walking around, but we have meetings, and we have the documentary project that we hope that maybe you will be able to see in some festivals soon. So Kieślowski Film School has a lot of different rooms and equipment that is there to help you work, not only when teaching, but also work as a professional. If you're a composer, you can use our studios, you can still work. It's very important actually that we are all active. So our job is not only to teach, and this is one of the great things about Kieślowski Film School, because I do feel that I have a chance to develop professionally. And on the other hand, except of having a chance, I actually have a motivation, because what is expected from me is that I will be active in the industry. And this is really amazing thing, because you feel that it's not now retirement from film industry, but it's prolonging, or it's something that you do parallel. And I think this is one of the strengths of the film school, that it's not this moment when you say to the market goodbye and then you start teaching students how it was 20 years ago, but you actually are still on the market, very active. So we have a cinema for 120 people, and it sounds like a lot, but it's actually not that much, because we organize a festival. It's Węgiel Film Festival. It's the most, I'm quoting now, because I just got this review today, so I'm very proud to say, it's the most important student film festival in Poland right now. And we just got a review like that. And yeah, in such moments, it turns out that the cinema for 120 people is definitely not enough. A lot of people sitting on the floor or standing. We have a fully equipped film and television studio that you see in the photo. We have a green screen, obviously. We can do motion control. We are developing VR technology. We have some professors working with that. But Poland is the country of cinematography. So obviously this is where our focus lies on. We have a sound and image post-production studio. So you basically, as a professor as well, can use our suite, and definitely you can screen the film later on also in our cinema and have the professional screening for whole your crew and team. We got editing room. We also have camera and light, obviously for the studio, which we are updating regularly. You know that such equipment is super expensive, and to stay up to date, it requires regular updates. So we also have a cooperation. I will talk about our cooperations with external partners in a second. But we have such cooperations because not always it's like on a film set. Buying is not always a solution. Sometimes much smarter is to rent, and this is what we also do. We have a photographic atelier, and that's actually the photo that I showed you before, the room that had 2 walls made of glass, and actually it's got also a glass roof, which is pretty cool. And we got a dark room and exhibition space for photography on 2 floors. The dark room is the only one in Poland, and the second one in our part of the Europe that enables us to develop slides and color photography. So it's very modern. We actually been preparing it for the last 2 years. It's ready. So we're working on a really good equipment. We don't really have to send it to develop in Berlin anymore. So to talk about external partnerships, this is extremely important. It's extremely important not only to any faculty at the university, but it's also extremely important for art faculties like ours. So I gave some logos of companies or institutions that we work with. These cooperations are in different style. Like for example, just to show you one or explain you one, DA Factory is a company that does a post-production of image in Poland. It's one of the market leaders, and they are doing the post-production of all our student films. But also, of course, Polish Film Institute, which is an important founder of our university. To talk about the courses, I will explain you why Polish Film Institute is important, but now just mentioning it. So it's basically the funding that we get is very similar to the funding you get when you do the film. But outside of Poland, we cooperate with various institutions. We, for example, cooperate with Can Classic. This is why we're here. But we also cooperate with Polish institutes in different countries. Here's a Polish institute in Berlin. I took it because it's the closest to my heart. We do a lot of workshops together. The students are able to go to Berlin and do the documentary projects. They are invited to the festival. There is actually the biggest festival of Polish films outside of Poland. It's in Berlin. So they're also able to work there, do their internships, but also paid jobs, and maybe stay in Berlin if they want. We also cooperate with Berlinale, which I have no idea why I didn't put the logo in. I guess if I would be preparing this presentation today and not a week ago, I would put Cannes and Berlinale as the main ones because I'm in the festival mood. But at that moment, looking at all the logos, I can tell that I was thinking about production. So these are our important production partners. Of course, talking about the partners, we also have industry professionals, not only the ones who work for us, who do the workshops, but also the ones who invite. As a professor, I'm able to invite people for one of my classes, to have a joint class with someone. First week of May, for example, we were in Portugal because we cooperate with an institute in Bragança in Portugal, and we just did a workshop there together this time in Portugal. So these cooperations are really tight. And they're actually not only on paper. Like it's very important to go to these places, to be there, to shake hands. It doesn't work the other way around in film schools. It's super busy right now because in like 15 minutes a screening of a film starts. It's still not so, like if you hear some honking or some cars, it's people getting to the cinemas. But it's not that bad. The worst is going to be at 16 when Top Gun will be screened because Tom Cruise is the guest of Cannes this year, and it's a big thing. We already had some planes and things like that here, so we're all very excited. We have already met with Tom, and haven't shaken hands yet, but we were on the same red carpet, so we were there. We also are very active at film events, and this activity is in two different ways. We participate in events, like for example this now the festival. or the festival in Rotterdam. We also go to Berlinale. We're going this year to Venice, but except of that, what is important is that it's active. So we always go with a project. Now in Cannes, we're doing a documentary film, and it's a film done also with students, in cooperation with students. But to give you an example of Berlinale, actually it was my project. I did a workshop as a part of Market, a European film market, and the project was organized by me and was just part of the standard program of Berlinale. So it's also outside of teaching, it's a great opportunity to develop yourself further in whatever field you work in. As I'm saying, film is very broad, so there's a lot to do. And if you're a sales agent, then this would be even better. But I'm more into festivals. So going to the courses, we have right now 4 courses. Our standard 3 courses are taught in Polish, but we also have 1 course in English. So our standard 3 courses is film directing, it's cinematography and photography, film and television production. And then there is a new course that now is running since 2 years, and it's called Creative Management in New Media. So I'll just give you a short glimpse of what these courses are about. Film directing is a course in film directing. We accept, if I'm not wrong, 7 students. So it's really limited number of students. And you might say that, okay, why don't you get 30? And then after some time, you realize which ones have the most potential. But it doesn't work like that in a film school. And this is one of the reasons why I work here. I actually have very personal contact with each one of them. And this is the only way you can work with them, the only way we can develop, the only way you really know that they get the help they need from you, and also you get the satisfaction, because I very often, for example, employ my students afterwards, graduates afterwards in different projects. It would not be possible if I had 50 of them. It would be very hard if I had 30. If I have 7, it's extremely easy. I know their names. I very often know the names of their mothers, fathers, dogs, cats, hamsters, and I'm up to date what's going on. And the students in film directing, cinematography are the students that need this guidance and actually deserve it. So why not giving it to them? So this is where Polish Film Institute that I talked about comes in very handy, because teaching film students is super expensive. They do films after each year of their studies. So Film Institute is funding us and giving us additional money so that these projects can be done. Cinematography and photography is the same amount of students. We are very happy to have really good cinematographers in Poland. We're blessed with that. So later on, when you hear, for example, that the most known Bollywood cinematographer is Marcin Łaskawiec, you're not surprised. And because you know Marcin Łaskawiec, he was a very good student, and no wonder that he's now a star in Bollywood. And it's similar with photography. We're very proud to say, and this is the photo that we have on the right. The photo was taken by Rafał Milach. He's our professor in photography. He's one of the most famous Polish photographers, part of Magnum. Yeah, and we're very proud of him, not only because of his artistic work, but also because of his social engagement. And I think this is very important. It's very important for people who do culture, who do art, that we stay true to who we are, and we do not pretend that things are not happening if they are happening. So then there's a film and TV production. That's a very interesting course. There's a course in in film management, I would say, we do not only teach future producers and production managers, but we actually focus on all kinds of jobs. You see a lot of these people working later on in television, in film, and it's actually heartwarming. I must say that a couple of days ago, I got an invitation for Krakow Film Festival. Krakow Film Festival is a really good festival in Poland, and it was signed by my student, who is now only in her third year, and she's responsible now for the guest management at the festival. So it's really great to see them later on doing so many various different things. And then there is a new course, Creative Management in New Media. That's a course taught entirely in English. We are actually at this moment, we are preparing some lifting of the course of some of the subjects that we teach there. It is connected to new media, but at the same time, we're still film school. So it is very much focused on creative producing and preparing industry professionals who are fluent in English. This is one of the I guess weak points of our industry, that it's still very monolingual, and at the same time we have so many productions from Netflix. Lots of our professors working for Netflix right now. We just got funding for a Polish Film Institute for a project done together with Netflix. So there is a lot going on internationally. Our cinematographers are really asked for. Our production managers are also come in very handy. So English is super important. And this is why we're doing a course taught entirely in English, and not just an English course while teaching, because some of the things in the industry, how you know yourself how it works within particular countries, it can't be translated from one to one, let alone just copyright, which I can proudly say that, for example, in Poland, copyright is already from the moment of the idea, which is very special for our market and not necessarily for the whole Europe. And I have a video for you, a video that is presenting the creative management in media. It's an MA course. It's good that I have a video, so now I reminded myself it's not a bachelor, it's an MA course. The other courses are both bachelor and MA. This one is just MA. And we have a lot of people from different countries studying in a course. The beginning of the course is online, so the students, we can get to know the students can get to know us. It's easier for them to make smart decisions about coming to Poland, or maybe not. And it's so much, it's working perfectly for internationalization of our students. It gives them a lot of chance for contact with other people. So let me just stop talking. I'll play you the video. It's super short, so don't worry. It was created by our partner, Academy of Fine Arts. I think that the animator that did it, she works now in Barcelona. So as you see, our connections to Spain are super strong.
Demands of the times we're living in, our 2-year Master of Arts course will provide practical and theoretical knowledge required to work in marketing agencies, television or radio, run social media professionally, and create the best content. The course consists of 1,200 hours of study and 240 hours of workshops, all in English, with the best teachers of Krzysztof Kieślowski Film School, specialists in the new media branch, and international lecturers. During that time, you will learn about social media, business and legal issues, and will study in creative areas such as film, animation, script writing, advertisement, cinematography, and many more. Study in small groups of maximum of 15 people from around the world. The first year is 100% online, so you can learn from wherever you are. Join us in Katowice. Travel around Europe, create your own social media project, and build connections with famous directors and cinematographers.
So this was the short video of the creative management. I find it a course with a great potential. It's in October we're going to start the third year, so it's great to just watch it and how it develops. And so just to finish with, I have some contact for you. There's a website of our film school. You can use two alternative websites. They will both move you to our official website. It is either Katowice PL or SF US Edu PL. Please check it out. The website is done a little bit differently than the general website of the university because of the amount of audiovisual material we have on. We're very proud of the films that the students make. We incorporated in the website. I cannot imagine that somebody would decide to work with us without seeing it. So it's out there. And there's also a general email, which actually works very well. There's a friend of mine, my colleague, but also a friend who is working with this email, and she always moves the emails and sends to the people that are responsible for particular things. So the best way is to contact this general email, since you will be redirected exactly to the person you are supposed to be redirected to. If you want to talk to me, I'm very happy to answer your questions. Also via email. My email is a standard University of Silesia email. It's anna.hood, and then it's at usedu.pl. But if you just write to SF and then you select you want to talk to Anna, it's also gonna reach me. I'm not promising to answer within the next days. I have around 60 unread emails at the moment because of the can, but I'm very happy that I was able to be here with you.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. You have told us a lot about festivals and events in which employees of film school could take part. Does it always connected with making, producing a documentary film or something like that? How it works?
Not always. I just saw that I have this. Not always with doing a documentary film, but for me it's important that we always do something, that we're not only the guests, because anyone can be a guest. You don't have to be a film school student or an employee to go to the festival, buy accreditation, and just go to the screenings. For me it's important that they attend the industry events, that they actually get invited for yachts, like for example we did, and tomorrow we're going to be on a presentation about NFTs on a yacht. In Cannes, which is always an experience, but half of our job is networking. You can be a perfect cinematographer director. If you don't have connections, if you do not know people, if you didn't network, you don't gonna get jobs, or the amount of jobs is going to be limited. And this is why we always try to do something additional to just being in a festival. Of course, we also go every single time our film is in a festival. And for example, our films are always on some festivals. So it's a lot of traveling, and unfortunately I can't go always with them, but it's always great fun.
Thank you very much for connecting with us today. And I hope you spend a wonderful time in Cannes.
Definitely.
Thank you very much. And the last speech for today will start at 2 p.m. See you then.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Witaj w Katowicach, stolicy województwa śląskiego. Gotowa na spacer? Jesteś na katowickim kampusie Uniwersytetu Śląskiego. Wydział Humanistyczny wprowadził się do tego budynku w 2021 roku. Zajrzymy do środka. A teraz chodźmy odwiedzić samorząd studencki. To zaraz za rogiem przy Bankowej 14. W tym budynku można też studiować matematykę. W budynku pod numerem 12 znajduje się siedziba rektoratu. Tutaj pracują władze uczelni, a Tobie polecam Centrum Obsługi Studentów, czyli wyjątkowo kolorowe miejsce w rektoracie. Chodźmy do sąsiadów z naprzeciwka. Wydział Nauk Społecznych przy ulicy Bankowej 11 kształci socjologów, politologów i dziennikarzy, którzy szlifują swoje umiejętności w nowoczesnym studium. Studia to wiedza, książki i rozmowy ze znajomymi. Pokażę Ci miejsce, w którym połączysz wszystkie te trzy elementy. Mieści się tu Centrum Informacji Naukowej i Biblioteka Akademicka. I jeszcze jedno. Stąd jest już bardzo blisko do gwiazd. A to Wydział Prawa i Administracji. W XXI wieku wprowadził się do nowego budynku o niezwykłej architekturze. Tutaj także studenci przekuwają teorię w praktykę. Nasz kampus znajduje się nad rzeką Rawą, którą staramy się przywrócić miastu i jego mieszkańcom. Właśnie tu zorganizowaliśmy 5. edycję Śląskiego Festiwalu Nauki, w której wzięło udział 30 000 ludzi. Pora przejść na drugą stronę rzeki. Budynek Instytutu Chemii jest zabytkowy, ale badania, które w nim prowadzimy, są nowoczesne. Sprawdzimy skład chemiczny wody z Rawy. Widzę, że wciągnęła Cię praca w laboratorium. To może obejrzymy z bliska rośliny, które rosną nad Rawą. 2 kroki stąd jest Instytut Biologii, Biotechnologii i Ochrony Środowiska. Czas na spacer ulicą Warszawską, która powstała na długo zanim Katowice stały się miastem. Uważaj, żeby nie przegapić skrętu w lewo. Przy ulicy Pawła III mieści się Szkoła Filmowa imienia Krzysztofa Kieślowskiego, w której kształcimy m.in. reżyserów, operatorów i producentów filmowych. Wielokrotnie nagradzany budynek Szkoły Filmowej to połączenie tradycyjnej śląskiej architektury z finezją nowoczesności zaproponowaną przez hiszpańskich architektów. W tych pięknych wnętrzach uczą się młodzi filmowcy, których dzieła są oglądane na całym świecie. Także w Katowicach, gdzie nie brakuje kultowych kin. Czas na dłuższy spacer, w trakcie którego zobaczysz wizytówki miasta, strefę kultury i legendarny spodek. To Wydział Nauk Społecznych przy ulicy Grażyńskiego 53, gdzie uczymy przyszłych pedagogów i psychologów. Spacer ulicami Mariacką i Dworcową to dobry moment na łyk kawy. Wydział Nauk Przyrodniczych mieści się przy ulicy Jagiellońskiej. Sprawdzimy, co jest w środku. Zajmujemy się tu m.in. badaniami roślin i mikroorganizmów. Nieopodal katedry znajduje się siedziba Wydziału Teologicznego. Jesteśmy w dzielnicy Ligota, gdzie znajdują się nasze akademiki. Tutaj swoją siedzibę ma studenckie radio Egida. Opowiesz na antenie o dzisiejszej wyprawie? A to tylko początek Twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody. Drogowa trasa średnicowa, którą właśnie jedziesz, to największa drogowa inwestycja województwa śląskiego. To właśnie tą trasą dojedziesz do Śląskiego Międzyuczelnianego Centrum Edukacji i Badań Interdyscyplinarnych, w którym od 2019 roku działa Wydział Nauk Ścisłych i Technicznych. 140 nowoczesnych laboratoriów i pracowni badawczych, multimedialna biblioteka, dziekanaty czy audiowizualne aule. Aha, widzę, że nie tylko mnie przydałby się odpoczynek. Rozgość się w wydziałowej strefie aktywności studenckiej. A teraz wyjrzyj przez okno. Obok budynku znajduje się wielofunkcyjna strefa aktywności, która łączy lokalną i uniwersytecką społeczność. Gotowa na dalsze poznawanie uroków Chorzowa? Obiecuję, że to miasto jeszcze nie raz Cię zaskoczy. Chorzowski rynek jest prawdopodobnie jedynym placem w Polsce, który został podzielony na pół drogą szybkiego ruchu, tak zwaną estakadą. To galeria sztuki muzycznej i obrazu. Po drugiej stronie estakady mieści się siedziba Teatru Rozrywki. To jedna z najważniejszych polskich scen teatralnych. Zachwycający, prawda? Budynek Poczty Polskiej to prawdziwa neogotycka wizytówka miasta. Postindustrialne obiekty miasta znajdują się także na szlaku zabytków techniki naszego województwa, który jest najbardziej interesującą trasą turystyki industrialnej w Polsce. Pokażę Ci jeszcze zielone płuca Chorzowa, czyli Park Śląski. To blisko 600 hektarów zieleni, Śląski Park Linowy, ścieżki rowerowe i śląskie wesołe miasteczko nazywane Legendią. W parku mamy także coś dla miłośników wiedzy. Planetarium Śląski Park Nauki. A to prawdziwa legenda – Stadion Śląski. To właśnie tutaj latem odbywają się liczne koncerty, warsztaty czy zloty food trucków. A to tylko początek Twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody. Sosnowiec powstał i rozwinął się dzięki tysiącom ludzi, którzy w krótkim czasie przyjechali tu z różnych stron. Zwiedzanie zaczynamy od Wydziału Nauk Przyrodniczych, który w Sosnowcu ma swoją siedzibę w najwyższym budynku akademickim w Polsce, czyli popularnej Żylecie. Dinozaurzyca Zuzia stoi tu nie bez powodu. W Żylecie znajduje się Muzeum Nauk o Ziemi, a studiują tu przyszli geolodzy i geografowie. A teraz chodźmy zobaczyć, jak wygląda miasto z wysokości 80 metrów. Przy ulicy Będzińskiej studiują też przyszli informatycy. Pójdziemy zobaczyć, gdzie się uczą. Nieopodal Żylety znajduje się miasteczko akademickie. Chyba czas pomyśleć o zakwaterowaniu. Jeżeli już się zadomowiłaś, pora na dalsze zwiedzanie. Nowoczesny budynek przy ulicy Grota Roweckiego 5 jest jedną z siedzib Wydziału Humanistycznego Uniwersytetu Śląskiego. Dominują tu języki nowożytne, a może spróbujesz swoich sił w tłumaczeniu symultanicznym? Sosnowiec powstał jako miasto wielokulturowe. Kiedyś różnymi językami mówiono na ulicach, a dziś w salach wykładowych. Pałac Dietla to jedna z pereł Sosnowca. Pochodzi z końca XIX wieku. Zwiedziłaś ciekawy zabytek, a teraz pora na odrobinę nowoczesności. Zagłębiowska Mediateka to dobre miejsce dla studentów. W Sosnowcu można dobrze spędzać czas na różne sposoby, o każdej porze dnia i roku. A to tylko początek Twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody. Witaj w Cieszynie, mieście, w którym stykają się dwie kultury, polska i czeska. Jak najlepiej zacząć poznawać nowe miejsce, kierując się z punktu A do punktu B na własnych nogach. Jesteś na miejscu. Wydział Sztuki i Nauk o Edukacji. Tu kształtują się i rozwijają swoje pasje przedstawiciele nauk społecznych i humanistycznych oraz środowisk artystycznych. Cieszyński kampus jest jednym z najpiękniejszych obiektów Uniwersytetu Śląskiego. Jest w tym więcej niż ziarno prawdy, nie sądzisz? Instytut Sztuk Plastycznych jest domeną ludzi sztuki, grafików, malarzy, rzeźbiarzy, rysowników, projektantów graficznych i fotografów. Uczymy tu też projektowania gier i przestrzeni wirtualnych. Instytut Sztuk Muzycznych jest kuźnią młodych instrumentalistów, wokalistów i realizatorów nagrań. Teraz przyszedł czas na zasłużony relaks. Kieruj się do centrum. Jesteś na cieszyńskim rynku. Rozejrzyj się. Ładnie tu, prawda? Ten czarujący rynek powstał pod koniec XV wieku. Nadal można tu znaleźć pozostałości po średniowiecznej zabudowie. W Cieszynie nie brakuje miejsc z dobrą kawą. Znasz tę budowlę, prawda? Rotunda w Cieszynie ma już około 1000 lat. A wiedziałaś, że w Cieszynie jest Wenecja? Chodźmy tam. Historia cieszyńskiej Wenecji sięga XVI wieku. Znajdziesz tutaj zabytkową architekturę, a także liczne puby i restauracje. Cieszyn to miasto spotkanie dwóch kultur. Po drugiej stronie rzeki są Czechy. A teraz w góry. A to tylko początek twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody.
Uniwersytet Śląski w Katowicach to bardzo dobre miejsce do pracy, dające duże możliwości w zakresie współpracy międzynarodowej. Od lipca 2020 roku jesteśmy członkiem Uniwersytetu Europejskiego Transform for Europe.
A laboratórium tökéletesen felszerelt, és egy kiváló helyszínt biztosít a tudományos kutatásaim elvégzésére. A kollégáim rendkívül segítőkészek.
Lavoro come microbiologo all'Università di Silesia in Katowice, dove mi occupo nella mia attività di ricerca di migliorare il futuro del nostro ambiente.
The University of Silesia is an ever-growing and evolving scientific institution where young scientists, researchers and students can come, learn, grow, build their career and then make a contribution back to the local population.
네, 실레지아 대학교에서 연구하고 강의하는 것은 저에게 폴란드 문화와 폴란드 언어를 더욱 깊게 이해하게 해주며 유서 깊고 다양한 실레지아 문화를 만나게 해줍니다.
Jako matka samoživitelka oceňuji možnost přizpůsobit si rozvrh hodin svým potřebám. Jako akademický pracovník plně pociťuji podporu univerzity, pokud jde o můj akademický rozvoj.
Powiększanie dobra wspólnego, jakimi są nauka i edukacja, oto unikalny składnik pracy w Uniwersytecie Śląskim.
Uniwersytet tworzą ludzie. To im staramy się zapewnić dobre warunki pracy oraz atmosferę sprzyjającą prowadzeniu badań na międzynarodowym poziomie. Działania podejmowane przez Uniwersytet są zgodne z zaleceniami Europejskiej Strategii przy zatrudnianiu naukowców, o czym świadczy przyznane Uniwersytetowi wyróżnienie HR Excellence in Research.
Nazywam się Małgorzata Myśliwiec, jestem profesorem w Instytucie Nauk Politycznych Uniwersytetu Śląskiego w Katowicach.
Sono Franco Magurno. Lavoro come microbiologo all'Università di Silesia in Katowice.
Nádudvari Ádám vagyok, és a Sziléziai Egyetem természettudományi tanszékén dolgozok, adjunktusként, másfél éve.
Jmenuji se Lucie Zormanová a pracuji na Institutu pedagogiky jako odborný asistent.
My name's Alexander Lowe. I work in the Institute of Chemistry as part of the Faculty of Science and Technology.
저는 실레지아 대학교에서 연구하는 유창일이라고 합니다.
Nazywam się Ryszard Koziołek. Jestem nauczycielem, badaczem, profesorem, rektorem Uniwersytetu Śląskiego.
Nazywam się Małgorzata Chrupa-Łapniak, jestem psychologiem i pracuję w dziale HR Uniwersytetu Śląskiego.
This is Witold Kania, professor of philosophy at the Faculty of Theology at University of Silesia. I am pleased to present to you one of the youngest faculties of our alma mater. Although our faculty is one of the youngest, it started in 2001, we cultivate the long-lasting tradition of the university, trying to combine fides and ratio, that is, faith and reason in search for wisdom. Faith and reason, as it was said by St. John Paul II, are like two wings on which the human spirit rises to the contemplation in truth. Theologians, according to the requirements of their respective discipline, are called to look to the one God who is revealed in creation and in salvation history as the perennial souls of their work. The truth that comes from above, as history shows, does not compromise the autonomy of rational knowledge, but spurs it on to further discoveries that lead to authentic human progress, by encouraging a thought that can reach the human heart, thus producing fruits of life. For many years we have been developing our faculty, expanding our activities, raising qualifications of our employees, and striving to achieve our goals to change the world around us. We create true community of scholars and students, Universitas Magistrorum et Scholarum, which is focused on personal development and community efforts to search for the truth. Before talking about career at our faculty, let me tell you about the scheme of our studies. Theology is an original field of our studies. More than a decade ago, we added to our institute the family studies, which are deeply rooted in theology and philosophy, as well in all modern family-oriented sciences. The academic offer consists of full-time and part-time graduate and postgraduate studies. You can get a Master of Arts in Theology, and you can study teacher training program, or theology in culture, or pastoral theology. Let me explain you. The teacher training program prepares for the future catechists, religious studies teachers in the Catholic Church. The theology and culture program involves a basic course in theology focusing on basic theological disciplines and with modules covering both theology and cultural studies. And finally, the pastoral theology program is offered exclusively to future Catholic priests. We also have in our offer postgraduate theological studies. These are focused on the one hand on acquiring faculties to become religious teachers in schools and kindergarten, and on the other, on mastering skills in different areas of pastoral and social involvement of the church. For example, postgraduate studies in theology of spirituality or pastoral theology postgraduate studies. The Family Studies program gives students a broad and interdisciplinary knowledge about family. The studies are based on Christian anthropology. Students acquire a systematic and detailed knowledge concerning pedagogical, psychological, and sociological factors influencing family, as well as a detailed knowledge in the areas of canon and civil law concerning the institutional and legal aspects of family. Probably you are curious what you can do after family studies. For example, you can become family assistant or marriage and family counselor or a teacher of education for family life in different types of schools. Finally, you can work in different types of social service institutions. The Faculty of Theology has the right to supervise PhD theses, dissertations, and habilitations in the area of theology. Now this program is held in a doctoral school. And of course, probably you are curious, how about professional career at the theology department? Probably I will disappoint you, but for now we don't have openings. But hopefully, with development of our faculty and with natural dynamic of the faculty in which old professors are retired and new ones are about to come, these openings will appear hopefully also in nearby future. But let me tell you something about advantages which we have at our faculty, which probably will bring you to cooperate with us. First one is external, but it's very good. It means we have modern infrastructure. Our building is one of the newest one at the university, and it creates a very good environment for research and for teaching. Second good side of working at our faculty is authentic interpersonal bonds. These are possible because of low number of students and of course low number, but the students are very valuable students. As academic teachers, we try to accompany our students not only in classrooms but also outside of them, and it really creates true bonds of friendship. The faculty employs more than 40 full and part-time professors from different specialities involved in research and teaching. Within the Institute of Theological Studies, research is carried out by several teams and individual researchers. The range of research interest is very wide, and the projects are related to virtually all theological subdisciplines and other areas of knowledge like philosophy, psychology, pedagogy, sociology, and others. Let me now present you few projects implemented at our faculty. The first one, Theology and Asceticism of biblical exegesis in the writings of Ephraim the Syrian. Probably you don't know who is Ephraim the Syrian, but of course if you are a theologian you will have clue about this. This research is focused on a few centuries of development of patrology of the Eastern churches and on Gnosticism. Advanced and highly qualified research dedicated to translation and interpretation of Syrian and Aramaic writings. Sometimes, surprisingly, this work is useful in diagnosis of the contemporary theological and cultural challenges. And another project, Theology of Disability. This project is very interesting on both theoretical and practical level. This project seeks answers the questions, for example, is disability evil, or is it the result of sin, or is it planned by God and is it an expression of the diversity of creation that God wills? Is it contextual? Or will people with disabilities continue to be disabled in heaven? Or do people with intellectual disabilities sin? Do they have a relationship with God? Theology of Disability also fights for full access to the life of the church and society for the disabled. Once more, a new project. Socio and theological inspiration of the encyclical Laudato Si. A few words of explanation. Encyclical letter Laudato Si, written and published by Pope Francis, is the first document of the Catholic Church fully dedicated to the issues of widely understood ecology. We try to implement this teaching to our local reality. And what is our local reality? We have to deal, for example, with air pollution and ethical dimension of air pollution. For example, is it lawful to burn certain substances, even knowing that the side effect of burning them will, in a certain way, destroy the health of citizens, but at the same time we don't have other quick possibilities to change the system or heating system. Another problems which we are dealing with, for example, that's degradation of the environment in connection with an economic activity. We are about to shut down many coal mines. And what about workers, and what about their way of living, and even of a way of living of their families? We know that it is easy to finish one coal mine, but how to change mentality of people who are related to the coal mine for example, last 2 centuries? And in all of this, we try by our studies and activities, academic activities, conferences, to give good light and to bring hope for people of our region. And also we invite to this work people from other regions of the world who are affected by heavy industry and excessive exploitation of natural resources. Another project, universal and local sources of the social teaching of the Church and its reception, Upper Silesian perspective. This particular project is related to diagnosis and forecasts of regional transformation processes. These processes are related to lowering number of people in our region, to growth of population which is advanced in age. And we try to study of importance of Christian values for the success of this process of transformation as well. We try to apply the principles of social teaching of the Church to specific conditions of Upper Silesia. Project which is related to the work of schools, intercultural dialogue in Europe, contribution of Catholic religious education in schools. The awareness of the value of multiculturalism of Europe has been growing gradually, especially among young people. But in spite of numerous activities that bear good fruits, the issue of dialogue among cultures remain vital, since the road to complete understanding, recognition, and respect for other cultures, denominations, and religions in Europe is still very long. A fruit of this effort was, for example, a conference held a few weeks ago in Vienna, which gathered representatives of 10 European nations and gave a very interesting opportunity to exchange experiences. Faculty of Theology and Institute of Theology also is involved with and cooperates with several universities from different continents, providing faculty and students exchange possibilities. One of these projects is a summer school program held partially at our university, but by the Institute of St. John Paul II from Houston, Texas, University of St. Thomas. This year, in 2 weeks, we'll have at our faculty more than 15 students and faculty members from distant Texas, which are lively interested in reading thoughts of St. John Paul II on their native ground. This program is very successful, and year by year, sometimes despite of difficulties, for example, ongoing war in Ukraine, students are still very interested in coming here and learning also from our Upper Silesian perspective. Something about activities of our own students with cooperation with foreign scientific institutions. There are study abroad for professors and students which took place in the Holy Land. As you see, a large group of students and professors, and few projects are ongoing. One of them, students are about to go to Canada, and the other will be once more a repetition to the very useful and beautiful study program in Holy Land, in Palestine and Israel. And one thing else, this is about Lectio Magistralis Internationalis. The COVID restrictions open new opportunities for scientific activities. New series of events called Lectio Magistralis is a possibility of extension of our capacities to get valuable lecturers at our university, and not only this is advantage for our university, but this type of lecturing online is open widely to whomever can go online, and we had a few successful meetings like this. One of them, one of the lecture was given by a famous journalist and scholar George Weigel from Washington DC. So you have the picture of the mall in Washington DC, and that's of course a little bit of samples from our research and teaching activities. Hopefully this small presentation will be useful for you to cooperate with us, and hopefully in nearby future also to join our faculty. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Could you tell us how does the social teaching of the church look like from Upper Silesian perspective? Could you explain it in few words?
Yes. Social teaching of the church is related to things which you have here and now, and these things are related not to, I would say, pious activity of people, but rather to their place in the social life. It means to their work, to the place of living, to social relationship between those who are offering jobs and those who are working. This teaching, which is we try to apply to our Upper Silesian perspective, and of course we can say there are few points which are points of interest. First of all, the issue of our senior citizens, which are growing in our region, and what is our response as a society, also as a church, to their needs. We know that in a certain way families are not always responsible for their own members, the oldest one, and what should be adequate answer. That's one of the issues. Another issue is related to our connections with nearby regions, for example with Czech Republic or Moravian region of Czech Republic, which we have many things in common. And for example, one of the projects is related to pilgrimages to our local shrines. We study this phenomenon, and of course we exchange our experiences. Then another, and probably one of the key problems of our region, in which social teaching of the church should be involved, is monitoring the process of transformation, which we can name from an industrial society to an information society. Industrial society, which is related to coal mines, all type of heavy industry, and information society, which is like a high-tech society. We know that many regions of the world, they made this transformation, and slowly or more actively this transformation also is placed in our region, and from theoretical and ethical point of view we try to give certain knowledge that this transformation would be really just and smooth. That's more or less answer for your question.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being today with us and your great presentation.
Thank you, and you are welcome.
That was the last presentation on the second day of virtual job fair Nice2MeetUS. Tomorrow we will have the opportunity to listen to the representative of School of Polish Language and Culture, Center of Chinese Language and Culture, Polish National Agency for Academic Exchange, Project Department of our university, Employment Conditions for Ukrainians, and also recruitment at University in Silesia in Katowice. Thank you for your attention and see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock.